cultural heritage risk management. What does it mean in France to take action with heritage in the face of extreme events? Good question. At first, it was the fire of Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris had a major impact on the political authorities' awareness of heritage issues. It reinforced the importance of the cathedral security plan and the missions of the experts I represent, who had already been working for the Ministry of Culture since 2006. So, what I mean? We have operational preventive measures and operational forecast measures. In France, conservation plans existed before the Notre Dame Cathedral fire, but they mainly dealt with artwork in museums, historic monuments, castles, cathedrals, and so on. Today, everyone agrees that the term Cultural Heritage Protection Plan should include protected buildings, not just artwork. And the debate was rekindled following a two-day colloquium with the French Ministry of Culture and the National Federation of French Fire Departments, which showed that fire is not the only problem. The intensification of climatic phenomena, extreme events, is forcing us to develop these plans, particularly with the risk of flooding and the increasingly frequent risk of cyclones. In the year 2020, we had 17 cathedrals with inadequate safety levels. Today, there are only 6, including 3 closed for renovation, Notre Dame de Paris, Nantes, and Montauban. Nantes, it was a criminal fire, and Montauban, it was collapse due to work on an underground car park. As for plans for safeguarding cultural property, by 2020, there were only 20 of the 89 cathedrals. Today, we have 86 out of 89. So the planned cathedral is very good. Okay. So I have a picture about the Ponte Vecchio in 1966. You can see in the year 2016, the Chambord Castle. It was very hard. Okay. The intensification of climatic phenomena is forcing us to develop these plans, particularly with the risk of flooding and the increasingly frequent risk of cyclones. Almost one commune, one town in 3 in France is subject to partial or total flooding. The streets is everywhere, as it is everywhere in Europe, and climate change is set to increase precipitation. However, while the majority of these communes in France have a flood risk prevention plan, we said in French PPRI, the main thrust of these plans is to limit or even prohibit the construction of housing in high hard zones. There are not specific prescriptions or recommendations for cultural property. Complementary approach to the French government's civil protection response that are of direct interest to cultural property. The city safeguard plan. In French, we said PCS. It is the plan for the town. Okay. little, big, large plan, TAM. The city safeguard plan drawn up under the responsibility of the mayor, and the particular safety plan, which is the responsibility of those in charge of premises housing vulnerable people, such as schools or health establishments. These measures are written in the French internal security law, which we position the citizen as an actor rather than the sole recipient of emergency assistance. In this way, the mayor can identify the cultural elements that make up the commune's heritage and define the measures needed to safeguard them in the event of flooding. In addition, each person responsible for these assets, thus identified, will have to assess the possible consequences and draw up the most appropriate response in his or her plan. The plans for listed establishments drawn up by the firefighters are inadequate, as they focus on personal safety rather than, for example, evacuating artworks. For this reason, heritage conservation enables us to preserve an inheritance that is by definition non-replaceable. The memory of past generations are essential to the future of a territory. Drawing up a plan enables us to anticipate crises and minimize damage. Priority works are identified and fallback sites are determined. French law now requires a plan exercise to be carried out every 5 years, enabling the planned measures to be tested. So I go quickly, but you can see what is the cultural heritage safeguard plan. It means producing an operational forecast and crisis management document drawn up in consultation with the fire department. It must be usable by emergency services and personnel at 2 a.m. In August, when you have nobody, with a temperature of -3 degrees and heavy rain. It must composed of an operational section and an organizational section. The operational section is plans to identify the assets to be safeguarded and the priorities. 1, 2, not 3. It's not possible. Technical data sheets for each artwork to be safeguarded. A plan identifying temporary storage areas for artworks. A plan identifying the storage areas for equipment dedicated for safeguarding cultural assets. The fire department equips itself to help safeguard cultural property to complement the equipment acquired by the cultural services. It's not all the firefighters brigades, okay? It is Paris. We have 10 departments in France with this. The other departments want the same, but it's expensive too. So we have accords between firefighters and cultural ministry. We give some money for that with them. Organizational section. We have employee recall procedures, service alert procedures, available resources, composition of the crisis unit, management, coordination, collections, logistic, building, communication, task cards. We said the PSBC in French should be tested during exercises and updated regularly. with Marie Cosolo, we work about a guideline about how to make an exercise between firefighters and culture personnel. Okay, it's not finished, but at the end of the year, sure. And hence, the CHSP emergency measures have been implemented. What can we do? In France, you can call on Blue Shield. Perhaps you know Blue Shield International. We have ProCulture too, but it is volunteers at the service of cultural property. I said that it is the emergency doctors of art. Yes, firefighters take artwork in the fire, go outside, and the doctors of art come and said, so very hard, so not very hard, and they prepare the artwork to go in another here. Please. Okay. Thank you for your attention.